The alarm rings. You know exactly what you should do. You have known for weeks, and before your feet even touch the floor, before the room comes into focus, before you have made a single conscious decision, the negotiation begins. Just 5 more minutes. You were up late. Tomorrow is a better day to start. You deserve rest. And you listen. Not because you are lazy, not because you do not care about the life you say you want, because the weaker version of you is very, very good at sounding reasonable. Your weakness does not arrive as surrender, it arrives as wisdom, and you have been losing to it for longer than you want to admit. This is not about discipline, it is not about motivation. Nietzsche's answer is darker than both. He would not ask how you become more productive. He would ask something that cuts underneath all of it. Why do you keep choosing the smaller life when the larger one is available to you? And his answer would be the one you are least prepared to hear. You do not fear failure. You fear what success would force you to become. Because becoming the person your life requires means killing the person you have been comfortable being. And most people would rather keep the fantasy of the life they want than pay the actual price of having it. Nietzsche did not see success as the accumulation of comfort. He saw becoming as a specific kind of violence. Not physical violence, inner violence. The destruction of excuses. The dismantling of borrowed values you never chose but have been obediently living by. The slow killing of the version of yourself built for safety rather than anything real. He called this self-overcoming, and he believed it was the central task of a human life. Because Nietzsche understood something most self-improvement content refuses to say. The biggest obstacle between you and the life you claim to want is not circumstance. It is not bad luck. It is not bad timing. It is not the people who did not believe in you. It is the current version of you. Still sitting at the table, still negotiating, still choosing familiar over true. Picture him, the weaker version of you, sitting across the table, not aggressive, not dramatic, not even obviously threatening, calm, familiar, completely reasonable. He knows every excuse that works on you because he built them specifically for you. He knows the exact moment to suggest that maybe you are pushing too hard. He knows how to frame quitting as wisdom, delay as strategy, and comfort as something you have earned. He does not fight you, he sits with you, and every time you listen, he grows a little stronger. Every time you negotiate with him, he earns another seat at the table. Every time you let him decide, he becomes more convincing the next time. And slowly, without a single dramatic moment, without a single obvious failure, he becomes the loudest voice in your life. That is how people lose years. Not in catastrophe, in small, daily agreements with the version of themselves they were supposed to outgrow. Here is the machinery most people never see clearly enough to name. You say you want success, but your habits are still loyal to the person who cannot handle it. The life you want requires different standards, different sacrifices, a different relationship with discomfort and failure. The old self does not want that life. The old self wants the prize without the transformation, the reward without the cost. So it protects itself, not with fear. Fear is too obvious. It protects itself with reasons. You need more information before you start. This is not the right moment. Wait until you feel ready. You are being realistic. Every one of those sentences sounds like good judgment. Every one of them is the weaker self dressed in the language of wisdom. And here is the part that should disturb you. The more intelligent you are, the more convincing it becomes. Because intelligence does not protect you from self-deception. In many cases, it makes you better at it. A sharp mind in service of a comfortable life is one of the most efficient traps a person can build for themselves. You have lived this in smaller versions every single day. You sit down to work on the thing, and somehow spend 40 minutes watching someone else explain how to do the thing. You call it research. It is avoidance with better branding. You think about starting, the project, the business, the difficult conversation, the change you have been circling for 2 years, and instead you consume more information about people who already did it. You call it preparation. It is the weaker self buying more time. You feel the discomfort of the hard session, the difficult decision, the commitment that cannot be undone, and you pull back. You call it balance. You call it knowing your limits. You call it being realistic. But here's the problem with being realistic. Realistic is always defined by the current version of you. And the current version of you was assembled from every previous choice to choose comfort over becoming. The most dangerous part is that you keep the dream alive. You do not give up on the life you want. You just never test whether you are strong enough to build it. You hold the vision at a safe distance, close enough to feel like you are moving toward it, far enough that it never has to become real. Because as long as it remains a dream, you are still someone who could achieve it. The moment you actually commit, the moment it becomes a test rather than a fantasy, you find out who you are. And the weaker self would rather keep the mystery than risk discovering the answer. Nietzsche's question was never, how do I become successful? His question was darker and more precise. What in me must be overcome before I am worthy of the life I claim to want? He believed man is not a destination. Man is a transition, a rope stretched between the animal and something higher. And most people spend their entire lives frozen on that rope, not moving forward, not falling backward, gripping tight in the middle, calling it stability. The will to power, as Nietzsche understood it, is not about dominating others. It is the force that turns against the self first. The force that looks at your own comfort, your own excuses, your own carefully constructed reasons for staying exactly where you are, and refuses to accept them as final. Because settling for a smaller version of your life out of fear is one of the most expensive things a human being can quietly do. You pay for it in restlessness you cannot name, in the feeling that something is missing without being able to say what, in the vague dissatisfaction that follows you into rooms where everything is technically fine. That is the unlived life pressing against the inside of the one you are living. Watch the pattern. Every time your life asks you for something real, a sacrifice, a risk, a commitment that cannot be reversed, the weaker self asks for one more delay. It does not say, I am afraid. It says, I am not ready yet. It does not say, I am choosing comfort. It says, I am being responsible. It does not say, I am giving up. It says, now is just not the right time. And you believe it, not because you are weak, because the weaker self has had your entire life to study you. It knows exactly which words you will not question. Your weakness does not always sound weak. Sometimes it sounds like wisdom. Sometimes it sounds like the most reasonable voice in the room, and the price of listening to it is not ruin, not catastrophe, just a life that is slightly, persistently, quietly smaller than the one you were capable of. Not a disaster. A version of your life that almost worked. Now here's the part you will want to argue with. Maybe you are not unlucky. Maybe you are not blocked by circumstance or timing or other people. Maybe the life you say you want has been standing there waiting for a version of you that you keep refusing to build. Because most people will not sit with this long enough to see it clearly. You do not only want success, you want the identity of someone moving toward success, the vision, the plan, the feeling of yourself as a person becoming something. That identity is available to you without the sacrifice. You can hold the story of someone building something great without ever having to find out whether you are strong enough to actually build it. As long as you are working toward it, you are still someone who could do it. The moment you commit completely, remove the exit, burn the option of retreating, you find out the truth about who you are. And some part of you has been protecting you from that truth for a very long time. Not because it hates you, because the comfortable uncertainty of a dream feels safer than the verdict of a life fully lived. So ask yourself the question you have been carefully working around. Not the easy one, the real one. Do you actually want the life you claim to want? Or do you only want proof that you could have had it without ever paying the price? Because those are two completely different desires, and they require two completely different lives. One of them is available right now, today, with the alarm and the cold floor and the weaker self already sitting at the table with his reasonable voice and his reasonable excuses. The other requires something no one can give you and nothing can replace: the willingness to lose the version of yourself you have been comfortable being. Nietzsche would not ask whether you are talented enough. He would not ask whether the timing is right or the conditions are fair. He would ask one thing only: which part of you still needs to die before your life can begin? Because the life you want is not waiting on better conditions. It is waiting on you to stop protecting the version of yourself that cannot survive it.